Hi everyone, I'm Micheline from Americana Long Arm Quilting. We do custom quilting and long arming, and you can find a link to our website in the description below. Today I'm going to work on my wall hangings for my kitchen for fall. And what's more fall than a basket, a bountiful basket. So today I'm going to make my Bountiful Baskets Wall Hanging, and I'm going to make it in a basket shape, but I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to put three right on top of one another. So this is going to be really cool. This is such a neat little gadget. My daughter bought me this for Christmas last year, and it's a box full of these little cards. And on the back of the cards, I know you're not going to be able to see it, but it tells you how much fabric you'll need and gives you a number of different sizes and how much fabric you'll need for each block. So this is a really fun tool to design your own quilts. So that made designing this quilt super, super easy. So I'm going to put these on point, one on top of one another. Now, I have to say thank you so much for everybody who has given me so much love and shares and views on this fall quilt that's hanging behind me. I really appreciate that you liked it, and it makes me so happy, and it makes me want to continue doing this. So if you watch that video, you'll remember perhaps that I was talking about this beautiful line of fabric from Tuesday morning, and it's also got these two in it. And I said, oh, I really want to use this. Now, in that fall quilt, I used this one and this green. I don't know that you can see that green. There we go. Okay. Today, I mean, I love this. This is so beautiful. Isn't that a beautiful piece of fabric? And it was from Tuesday morning. This is going to be my border. Okay. This is going to be the background. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Okay. So this orange is going to be the set-in triangles, these big set-ins, okay? And then this is going to be the background to the baskets themselves. And the baskets, and this is going to be a little mini border. So that'll be really pretty. And these three, which I've got one opened here to show you. This one is going to be 4 out of the 6, because you know I'm making 2 wall hangings. So it's going to be the top and the bottom basket. And this kind of rusty burgundy is going to be the middle basket. So it'll have 3 baskets in each wall hanging. There'll be 2 wall hangings. All right. So I have determined the size that I can make this basket and still have enough fabric to do it all. And I can make a 10-inch basket. So I'm going to get to cutting that now. All right. I've made all my calculations based on this wonderful little card for my basket, and I've multiplied that by the 6 blocks that I'll need. So I have all my figures, and now I'm going to get to cutting, and I'm going to cut this one first because it's the one I have the least of. So if as I'm cutting it, I realize that I don't have enough, and this little piece that's left over from making that quilt doesn't get me to the finished line, I can always make it smaller. But I've done my calculations. I figured it out. I think I can do it if I cut really carefully. So let me get to doing that. All right, well, I got all that cutting done, and I did have enough of the background to make a 10-inch block. So these are going to finish 10 inches. Now, You don't have to worry about remembering the numbers I'm fixing to rattle off to you. They're going to be in a free downloadable PDF on my website. I'll put this pattern on the website. Okay, so let's begin. I needed 24 background squares at 3 7/8, and that is what we're going to make half square triangles with right here. Okay, so I need 24 backgrounds of those to make the 6 blocks. I'll need a combination of these two colors, 24, to make the darker part of the half square triangle. We're going to need 12 3 by 5.5 inch rectangles. That makes this section right here. And we're going to need 6, 6 backgrounds and a combination of 6 here, 4 here, 2 here, to make this half square triangle. Okay, so we needed 6. Okay, 6. I think we're going to have some left over with that. That's okay. So that's what we need to make the basket. Now let's talk about these large squares that I've cut up in the center here. These are going to be our side set in triangles. These are going to be the corners. I've cut 4 pieces that were 8 1/2. Yeah, 4 pieces that were 8 1/2 and 2 pieces that were 15 1/2. Now there's a calculation to that, and I'll include that calculation in with the free downloadable PDF. You cut this one's going to be on the side. Cut the 2, you cut them in half diagonally twice, making out of the 2 squares, you'll make 8 side set in triangles. And the reason you cut it like this is what's going to be sewn to the block. This and this. This is the side. This is on the straight of grain. So your side is not going to stretch. And that is why you don't cut this in quarters. You only cut it in half, because now this side and this side are on the straight of grain. So your corner triangles are not going to stretch either. All right, I'm going to get all these lines drawn for my half square triangles, for those small ones and the larger ones. Open up my fabric here. I'm going to get all those drawn, and then it'll be time to go to the machine and get to sewing this together. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit of chain piecing here. How many do I have done? I've got quite a few done. What I'm doing is I'm taking one of the darker baskets and one of the backgrounds. I'm lining them up nicely, and I'm going to sew a careful 1/4 inch on either side of that drawn line. Let's see here. Not going to make you watch me do the whole chain piecing. Let me just get one out here. So I've got the line done on one side of the line. Well, maybe it is better on that side. Now I'm going to turn it around and do the other side. And there we go. It's drawn on both sides. These are the ones I have left to do. And we're going to cut that in half, just like we always do on a half square triangle. Okay. 2. Going to set those seams, set those stitches, and because so many pieces come together in these positions, right? So there's going to be all those fabrics coming together right there. I'm going to press my seams open. And that is one of the reasons that before I cut this particular project, I went ahead and spray starched my fabrics. I didn't tell you that to begin with. I spray starched my fabrics because I knew I was going to be pressing these seams open, and they're just a little bit easier to handle when they've got a little bit of spray starch in them. Okay, there we go. Now, look at that 1/4 inch seam allowance. That's going to help you make the best block that you can. Now we're going to trim that down. Okay, I added a piece of painter's tape to my ruler. so that I'm sure to get that nice and in the corner there. And these are just, I mean, they are so close to 3 inches. I think I've just got a teeny tiny little bit to take off. And basically I'm doing this because I need to get rid of these dog ears. Okay, there we go. That's one side. See, he just had a teeny tiny little bit to get off of there. Now I'm going to turn him around. Oops. Yeah, I did those 2 sides. I need to do these 2 sides. Okay. And then I'm going to put that on the 3. There we go. I might not even have to trim these down. I don't know. I think the more precise you are, even if it just means that much. That much? Can you even see it? Whee! The more precise you are, the better your quilt's going to turn out. All right. I'm going to finish this chain piecing, and then it'll be ready. It'll be time to start putting this block together. Y'all, I just realized I had 2 pairs of glasses on my head. This is what happens when you start losing your close-up vision. You have glasses everywhere, including on your head and on your head. Don't judge. Okay, maybe I should have used those second pair of glasses I had on my head because I realized I made a mistake. And it's just because I was going so fast. Now, I didn't cut anything wrong, but I was putting every one of these together in those half square triangle units. And on the back, if you see in that middle picture right there, I realized, first of all, the big squares don't get made into that half square triangle where you draw the line and sew half on each line, so a 1/4 inch on either side of that line. They get cut. Okay, so all of my big 5 7/8 inch triangles are going to get cut in half. Let's just get that done right quick. I'm going to do 2 at a time here. And this unit is going to be made together. So of all those little half square triangles I made, I'm going to be taking some of them apart because I needed just the triangle. Did I say half square triangle units? Half square triangle units. I'm going to be taking some of those apart because they shouldn't all have been put together into a square. They should have been left they should have been cut in half and left a triangle. Does that make sense? It'll make sense in a second. Here we go. Okay, I'll do that one in a minute. First of all, let me show you how it's supposed to go together. So we've got a unit here. Let's bring that down a little bit. Okay. There. 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 So see, you're starting to see that basket come together. This is where I realized I made my mistake. I needed just the half square, or just the triangle there and there, to which I would then sew a large triangle. Okay. And then here, and let's see, here goes another one. And this one goes like so. And then we take one of the background large triangles and sew him here. Okay. So the first unit that we have to do, we'll push these guys out of the way, push that guy out of the way, those guys out of the way, this out of the way. Now we've exploded it out and now we can see it. So the first thing we need to do is make this unit. So we're going to take this one over and sew him down this line, 1/4 inch. And we're going to do the same thing with him. Sew him a 1/4 inch like that. And then we'll sew this to it. Okay. Let me find my leader. Nope, can't find it. I'll get another one. Okay. I'm going to line that up, and I'm going to line that straight edge up at the top. All right. That's why you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention and don't assume. Okay, so I've got him sewn on there. And do I want to... I think for now I'll leave him just pressed to the one side. And now I'm going to sew him on, and again, making sure the top lines up. We're squared. Okay. I think I will go ahead and press him open. That last seam that I just made. Okay. Don't need my leader anymore. Let's go over here and press that. And I'm just going to go ahead and press this seam open that I decided to press open mid-sew. Okay. Now we'll do the same thing with this guy. We're going to press him open. Here. I'm going to do a little trimming there of those pieces. And of course, these two little pieces on the bottom are ones that I had to take apart. So they have little holes in them, but that's okay. I can steam them a little bit and those holes will close right back up. So right now I'm just cutting out that little dog ear, and I'm going to cut that dog ear away. And now we have a triangle. And we're going to take him and sew him to this triangle. Okay. This makes more sense. I got all my pieces together and I looked at it and I went, wait a minute, something's not right. It wasn't. So I'm going to hold really nice and tight to this, this point as I'm starting to put it through my machine so that it will not get distorted, and it'll be a nice 1/4 inch seam. There we go. Make sure my seams are laying flat open flat. And again, with this other corner, I kept my fingernail on it until the last possible second. And now we have our center section. Let's press it. And I'm just going to, for right now, I'm just going to press it towards the dark. We'll see in a minute if I need to press it open or not. But we're going to, right now, just say that's good. I'm going to trim off those little pieces, a little dog ears, and I'm going to put it back where it belongs. Okay? So far, so good. Now let's do these sections. Okay. Do this one. Get him up there. Okay, I'm going to sew these two pieces together like so. I'm going to sew a couple of these together. It comes together really pretty quickly. I'm just going to take this last piece that I just did off. I'm going to put him back, and then I'm going to put this next one together with him. Okay. There we go. Looking for my leader again. Okay, so he's going to go there. See what else I've got here. Okay, that one's going to go there. This one's going to go there, and this one's going to go there. Okay, let me get all that pressed up really nicely, and then we'll continue putting that together, okay? I have everything pressed nicely. I pressed these seams open as well. Now I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to put him on here, making the larger rectangular unit. And, you know, I made a determination to press this one towards the darker fabric, and I really do think that's going to work just fine with this seam. Oh, but I did turn a seam over. I will be more careful in the future. I am not, however, going to take that out. Now I'm just going to press these guys open. And I might come back and press that one open because he is kind of bulky. I can feel him under my iron, but I'm not going to do that while you all are watching. I'll do that. I'll fix that when I get a chance to. Won't make you watch another one of my mistakes. Okay, that looks really nice. Now I'm going to put this unit with him, making sure that I match these squares up, right? Those intersections. Okay. Take a few anchoring stitches at the top, and then I'm going to make sure that seam number one is laying flat, unlike what I did a minute ago, and that they are meeting one another. I'm going to keep my fingernails on it and go right through it. Let's get to this second one. Bottom seam is open, and that matches him. Go through that. Okay. I've got my fingers securely on the end of the square seam, and I stitch through that. Let's see how that looks. And very nice. Yes? Okay, let's get that pressed. Press them open again. Of course, now it doesn't want to do it. There we go. Whee. There we are. And those seams get thick. It's not that easy to get them to open up, is it? There we go. Let that sit there for a second. Okay. Again, nice 1/4 inch seam allowances. And that's what we're looking like. Going to put it back there. And now we're going to put these two units on. Okay. Start with this side. Take a few anchoring stitches. And I should be going past, let me see if you can see that. Going past this piece of fabric by 1/4 inch. Make sure my seams are flat again. Perfect. See what I mean? Yeah, I went a 1/4 inch past my seam, my fabric. That way when I open it up, it's going to be just right. Okay. Now, I don't think I'll need to open that one up. I think I can go towards there. Yeah. So I'm going to press this towards the rectangular unit. That's nice. Putting this back, I'm going to trim off that little dog ear right there. Okay. And now I'm going to put this one on. Doing the same thing. Match that top square up. There we go. And again, he went past by 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to snip him off. There we go. Oh, I got one of my seams caught up again. That's okay. There's not much there in that one. He'll be all right. Now I've got this funny looking little block. And we're going to fix him right now by putting this triangle right here. And again, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. So one of the ways that I'm going to eyeball it is I'm going to center it in that one too. Okay. And if you want at this point to keep it in place, whoops, we can put a couple of pins. Okay. That way, you know, when it's a bigger piece, I tend to use pins because it's a little bit harder to hold on to when I move it from one place to another. Okay. Look at those seams under it. It's perfect. I can kind of see, I'm going to take that pin out and I'm going to fold that up. Yep, I'm right at 1/4 of an inch right there. So it's going to be a really nice seam right there. It's going to be a really nice point. Okay. Now, yep, I went right across my, you can't see it on that, that busy of fabric, but my seam goes right through where my two other stitching lines, one stitching line came here, one stitching line came here, and this stitch line went right through those. So I did not cut off my point. And I don't know if you can see it because the fabric is dark, but there's that point I'm talking about. And this seam I'm going to press towards the background. There we go. Now I will probably take the time to trim up this to 10 inches and make it look all nice. But there's our block, and we're going to make 6 of these. I think this is going to be really fun. Alrighty, for those of you who aren't real familiar with setting your blocks on point, this is what it looks like. And if you're nervous about working with a quilt that's on point, this is a great first project for you to do because it's small and there's not a lot of pieces that can get rotated or put on wrong. This one's just right. Okay, so here's your first row right here. Okay, this is your second row that you're going to sew together. This is your third, your fourth, and this is your last row. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to sew these 3 pieces together, and where where the this is straight and this is straight, that is how you're going to line it up. You're going to line it up on this right here. Okay, so I'm going to take my little corn holder full of pins, and I am going to put a pin right there, And then I'm going to take this over here and make sure that that point right there is a 1/4 inch past your block. Okay. And then I'm going to put a pin in the middle for good measure. That way I don't have to do a lot of fussing when I get over to the machine. I'm just going to turn this guy back right here. And then this one, we're going to center it. Now, if it's not completely centered, that's fine because we're going to be cutting some of this back anyway. So we're going to go ahead and put some pins in there. Okay. And then just to keep this where it needs to go, I'm going to go ahead and just put a pin in the very center right there, and I'll know that's where he goes. Now let's do the same thing with this one again. We're going to match up this edge here. Make sure it's over a 1/4 inch or more. If your block, if your set-in triangle, if you made it a couple of inches bigger than it needed to, that's fine. You'll just have more to cut off. I'm going to pull him out of the way, and this time I'm going to straighten this edge up. Okay, like so. Put a pin in it. Whoops. Put a pin in both pieces. Make sure it's that 1/4 inch over. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing to this one that I did there, and I'm going to get these sewn up, and then it will be time to put on our borders, which will be a lot of fun. I wanted to make sure that I showed you this next step of putting together your side set in or your on point quilt. Okay, so at this point, now that we've sewn in all of our side set in triangles and our corner set in triangles, now we're going to match our points here. So I'm going to pin these together, right sides together, and they do nest because of the way we were sewing our because the way we were pressing towards the set in triangles, so that'll be really easy. And I'm just going to put a pin here in the center and at the end here. And this does go past my block a 1/4 inch. You can see I've got some extra fabric here, and that's okay because after we get that all sewn together, we're going to trim it down to a 1/4 inch away from these seams right here. And then it'll be time to put on our borders. So let me go sew that up and I'll be right back. All right, so here is my little wall hanging. I've trimmed it down to a 1/4 inch from those points. This is going to be my first border because I think it sets this off really nicely. If I just did that, I don't think I would like it that much. So I want that little 1/2 inch of this green. And then I'm going to go with this fabric here, which is one of my favorites in the line. It's the same as this green one. It's just that it's in a lighter color. And then this is the only thing I have, this green is all I have left enough of to make the binding. So I'll do the binding out of that. And I think that'll be really pretty. Now, it's looking like this is going to be a super wide wall hanging, and I've only got so much room on those cabinets in my kitchen. So I might have to cut this down just a little bit. But we'll worry about that when we get a little bit further along the line. All right, well, I'm going to get these borders on and get it layered and get to start quilting on it. We're to the quilting phase of this project. First of all, let me show you how the little wall hanging turned out. I'm really in love with it. I think it's going to be so warm and just fall wonderful. Those of you who haven't watched my spooky Halloween video, I talk in that video about why I got into long arming as a business, why I bought that gigantic 12-foot long machine over there. I'm so glad I did. I'm no good at free motion quilting. The best I was able to achieve on previous home deck machines or even my industrial juki was to stitch in the ditch. And even then, my results were okay. So I tried it with the Spooky Wonky House on this machine, just doing some meander, and it was a lot of fun. So I thought, okay, I'll try it again on this new machine of mine. And what I'm going to do today isn't a meander. I'm going to actually do a grid pattern in this one. So I'm going to go all the way around it, and then I'm going to go down in between all of these little squares this way, and I'm going to go this way too. So I'm going to make it a nice big grid. I'm going to stitch in the ditch around the green. I'm going to do kind of a ribbon through here. Okay, so that'll be kind of a free motion thing. But then in these orange fields, I'm going to do an echo stitching, and I'm going to start off with a little semicircle right here, and then I'm just going to use the foot of the machine, and I'm going to go again and again and again and again until I get it all the way done. Okay, here we go. All right, guys, it's all done. What do you think? Let me see if I can get you a little close up on my quilting. So I did a lot of echo stitching and a grid pattern. Not sure if you can see through here, but it's kind of a, I don't know what it's called, a double helix ribbon band. And then I just did some stitching in the ditch there. It is now time to go put it up in my house. All right, everybody, here we are back in my kitchen. Got our fall quilt done. I'm really excited about how it turned out. It was a lot of fun to quilt. I did a lot of echo stitching, a grid pattern, kind of a double helix ribbon down the side. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, do all those things that make that algorithm sing. And also tag us if you make this quilt. In the meantime, stay quilting, everybody. Happy fall.